Yeah.
So, just give us a background on how you came about, your knowledge in the VA, and how you're able to help us out, and talk about to vets out there that are like, I can't get my claim started, or they're not approving my claim. What can they do? What avenues do they have?
Well, I wish I would have known what I know about VA disability claims 8 years ago, 10 years ago. It took me this long to actually hear about it. I didn't even know about it when I got out of the military. And I'm going to kind of relate my getting it back into the Air Force, with getting the letter from the mayor to my VA claim. If I could give any advice to vets out there that are putting in a disability claim, don't take no for an answer. If the VA comes back to you and says, no, we're not going to, don't just file that piece of paper in the drawer and say, okay, well, they said no.
And that's really what they want, right?
That's what they want.
Initially, they don't want to pay.
They don't want to pay out, for
the injuries that
exactly
that you got in the military.
Exactly.
And also, I think we have that mentality as being veterans. We have that work ethic.
Yeah.
And we don't complain.
Yeah.
And we don't take advantage of these benefits that are out there for veterans.
Totally.
I mean, a lot of veterans that I hear that, they broke their back, they broke, legs, arms. I mean, and they don't apply for benefits.
They don't, and so half of them don't even know that they can apply for benefits.
Right.
I didn't know I could apply for benefits. So when I was 2 years before I got off of active duty, I started feeling some pain behind my right knee. I was doing long days, construction projects, and I felt this pain behind my knee. Anyways, long story short, went to the emergency room because the pain just kept going on for days. Finally went to the emergency room and said, thank God you came in and saw us. You have a huge DVT clot behind your right knee. And I was like,
right?
a blood clot. Deep vein thrombosis. And the doctor said, if you hadn't come in here, there's a chance that could have went to your heart or your brain. I mean, you could have been dead. And I mean, it was like a baseball bat to the face. I was like, and then for 6 months following that, I was sticking, Lovenox shots in my stomach, blood thinners. So I went from one day just being normal in the military to the next getting a huge DVT clot behind my knee and sticking myself like a junkie with needles in my stomach for 6 months trying to get rid of this clot. Well, I remember when I was at the Navy hospital emergency room, the doctor came up to me and he says, hey, this is a serious condition and you need to claim this. Well, I didn't even know what he was talking about. All I wanted to do was get back to work. I wanted to get back. I didn't want the military to know that I was hurt. I didn't want them to kick me out. And I kind of just ignored him. But all these years later, I know what he was talking about now. He said, claim it. Claim this disability. Well, I didn't know what he was talking about. So I did a couple more years, and then I got out because I got hired on with the fire department. Fast forward to now, I've had 3 more clots. 2 in the same leg and 1 in my left leg. So I finally, working with all the vets here at the fire station, I heard them talking about VA disability. And I didn't even know what it was. And so I started talking to a couple. And one guy says, hey, and he explained it to me. Hey, for any condition that you had while you were on active duty service, you could put in for disability claim. And you can compensate it. You can compensate it with, financially. You can get compensated with being able to go see a VA doctor and not have to pay co-pays. You don't have to go pay, let's say for my legs, I need to wear compression stockings. Now that I get to go to a VA hospital, that's all covered free.
Yeah, and a lot of people have the misconception that VA benefits is just getting compensated monetarily.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No.
You can, if you get rated or you can get approved, you can go see the VA doctor.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about having insurance, co-pays, and there's other benefits as well as vocational rehabilitation.
Exactly.
That they pay for you to go back to school and earn a trade. All right, so we're talking about the VA benefits and how they're just not monetarily. Every state has different benefits.
Yep.
I know us here in the state of California, if you are rated 30% or more, I believe.
Yeah.
Our children are able to go to any state university.
That's
tuition
huge.
Free.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Huge.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefits out there for our vets out there to seek.
Yeah.
So continue with your story.
There's also another benefit if you're 10% or more service connected on any disability. you can apply. Let's say you run out of your GI Bill. You've went to school, you've used your GI Bill. If you're 10% or more service connected, you could apply through the VA and you can get that. You can get that GI Bill extended. So you can get 2-3 more years of school, get paid for it. So there, education right there. So these are all reasons why it's extremely important that you apply for VA disability. Now, you may have done your 4 years, whatever, 8 years in the military and think nothing happened to me. I don't, nothing's wrong with me. I went initially because of my clots. I said, hey, this is a huge, and it's bothering me. Obviously, it was trending, so I had 3 more clots after that. So I felt like I had a really good case to get disability, connected. At least to make sure that my legs get covered. And if it continues, I can get help for it. So I made an appointment with the local VFW, and they said, hey, bring your medical record. Now, I went in strictly for my clots. And so the guy said, give me your medical record. And this is a VA rep. So when you initially apply for benefits, you can just apply for benefits as on your own. You could just get on eBenefits, create a profile, and do it all yourself.
And eBenefits is a website, correct?
eBenefits is where the main portal that you apply for disability benefits. And that's, if you go to a VFW rep, that's what they're going to do. They're going to pull up eBenefits. They tell you before you go to your appointment, register on eBenefits. Because they don't want to have to spend the time registering you when you get to the appointment. So I got to the appointment, I typed in my info, and he is basically doing what I could have done at work. But here's the key. I was going to say, I initially thought before this interview, hey, you take it into your own hands and you could do your whole disability claim. But the thing is VA reps are actually pretty good, because this guy took my folder, my medical folder, and I was just going to put in for clots. I left his office and he had like 10 or 11 things that he had found in my record that I could apply for. Hearing loss, other stuff like he was just kind of looking at me and he said, "Ooh, yeah, we're going to definitely apply for this." And I said, "What is it?" And he said, "Acne. You have severe acne." And I said, "And I don't feel like I have severe acne," but he saw in my medical record that I went to the doctor and I got seen for acne. He could see a few scars on my face and he says, "You can apply for that." And anyways, all these things he put in for, and I just went in there for my legs. I just initially was going to go in for my legs. So then my claim is put in, and it's the waiting process. And then I think the reason why here at the fire department that I have become somewhat of the resident expert at VA claims is because I failed miserably for the first couple of years that I actually was going through this. So, I failed. I kept failing over and over again. And when I say fail, I mean I put my claim in, and I would get denied. Here I had a DVT blood clot in my legs, on active duty.
You almost died.
Almost died. On active duty, I get this clot. And I have 3 more after that. And the VA is denying me. They won't even service connect me at 0%. I was furious. And I remember waiting weeks and months and going through the process of reapplying for it, only to wait 3 months and to get denied again. And I would call my VA rep, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? I can't even get service connected, and I got a DVT clot.
I just want to get seen by a doctor.
I just want to have this covered.
Right. And
I mean, this could kill you. And I can't even, and I wasn't necessarily looking for compensation. I was looking to get service connected so that I'm stopped. I was going to the doctor every month, paying co-pays. I was going to the emergency room in the middle of the night because I had pain behind my legs. And all this was coming out of pocket.
And it all adds up.
It all adds up. And before you know it, so 2 years went by, and I keep applying for these benefits, and I kept getting denied. And that's how I think I became the resident expert, because I took my VA claim into my own hands and I turned that around. So after 2 years of applying for these benefits for my legs and other ailments that I had due to my military service, I remember being on the phone with my VA rep. I went through the VFW, and nothing against VFW. And anything I say here in this interview, this is my experience. It may not be the right way. Somebody that has worked for the VA may be listening to this and say, no, that's not how it goes. So this is my opinion. This is how my story went. So it could be the right way. It could be the wrong way. But it worked for me. So I remember calling my VA rep for the 15th time and saying, what is going on? I got denied again. And she said, well, you know what? I've got 15 to 20 of you waiting for my help. I don't have time to look into this right now. And that was the point. That was the turning point for my VA claim. I initially told her on the phone, I said, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm not even going to deal with this anymore, and I'm just going to forget about it. And she said, no, don't quit. Just keep going. But I realized she wasn't doing anything for me. I wasn't getting the help that I needed. And I'd say, hey, can you help me out? And she told me on the phone, hey, I got 15, 20 of you, and I don't have time for it right now. So I took it into my own hands, and I started Googling, and I found this website called UKU Vets, and that's spelled YUKU Vets. You could just Google it, and you'll see the forum. And it's a forum that vets are talking about disability claims. Thousands of vets are talking about disability claims. The cool thing about this website is it's got a search bar up on the top, and you can type in whatever you're trying to claim. So I put in DVT clots. And it brought up all these discussions on people that are applying for DVT clots. They write in there what they got compensated for, what percentage they got, and they write down, they basically say, this is how my claim went. And they give dates, and they say, hey, I applied for this on this date, and this is how long it's been. So you can kind of gauge. The cool thing is you can connect with them, and you can, search. You can send them a message or put a question in the forum and say, hey, this is what I'm applying for. What am I, what's going on? So that's exactly what I did. I wrote, hey, this is what I'm claiming. I'm 2 years into this. I keep getting denied. What's going on? And I got a couple replies from some vets, and I remember talking to them, and they said, you need to take your claim in your own hands. Don't put it in the VA rep's hands. Your claim, the destiny of your claim is up to you. So, you handle your own claim. And I said, well, how do I handle my own claim? Well, first thing is you got to become familiar with e-benefits. It's one thing to know how to apply for benefits within the system, but so that's what I did. I pulled up e-benefits, and instead of just hitting the login and going to apply, I started looking at all the other buttons on there and just learn the site, how to navigate around the site. And I learned that I could do these. I could reapply for these benefits myself. I didn't have to wait for my VA rep. Now, when I was getting denied on my claim, what the VA does is they send you this nice packet when you get denied, and at the end of the packet, they'll write why you got denied. But at the end of the packet, they say, hey, if you don't agree with this, you can appeal. They have the form right there. They make it so simple for you. They put the appeal form at the end of the thing, and they say, if you want this. Now, in my experience, the appeal form is not the way to go. They want you to fill out this appeal form, and basically every single person that I've talked to that has appealed their claim is waiting a year and a half, 2 years sometimes, and their appeal has been sitting there, and it doesn't do anything. In my opinion, it's the VA's way of putting it on the back burner.
And I think you're right, because I'm in that process right now.
Yeah.
My initial claim was denied, of course.
Yeah.
And, I didn't know. So I went with my BFW rep.
Yep.
And they said, oh, we just put an appeal.
Yeah.
So they put in the appeal, and now I'm going 14, 15 months on wait.
And it's still
pending.
It's just pending.
And I call, and they're like, we have your stuff, and
Yeah.
it's in the appeal process, and whenever we make a decision, you'll hear from us.
And it's just hanging there.
So, so I can relate to that.
One thing I learned on UKU Vets was one of the vets got in touch with me and says, hey, don't appeal your claim. If you get denied, do what's called a reconsideration.
So for vets out there listening, big piece of information right now. Do not appeal your claim if it gets denied.
Yeah.
Apply for a
reconsideration. That's what they call it. It's called a reconsideration. And not a lot of people know about this. All they know is, hey, I got denied. I'm going to appeal. They fill out the paperwork, and then they wait 2 years to hear back. They're hanging in the back, Yeah, in my experience with the VA, I would recommend not appealing your denial. If you get denied on your VA disability claim, don't just say, okay, well, I'm denied, and I put in for it and I tried.
Or what a lot of veterans do, too, is that they get denied and they give up.
They give up.
They're like, okay, I got denied.
Exactly.
Oh, well.
And they just say, well, I got denied on disability, and they just forget about it.
And that's
the
wrong.
I'm living proof that is wrong. I was denied 4 or 5 times before I learned what to do. And so I'm living proof. I went from being completely denied over and over again. And until